Hey friends, welcome back to my garden. This week I'm just going to give you a garden tour and kind of give you an update on what's going on. It's been a weird weather week and we had a lot of rain, so not much has been happening. The blackberry bush, however, a lot has been happening. If you remember when I planted this, it was just one single little stick, and now it is three canes. I cannot wait to see what this thing looks like next summer. When it gets a little bigger, I'll pull this metal ring from around it, but for now this protects it from the landscapers. Moving on to the garlic bed, everything is getting big. I'm starting to notice some garlic scapes, and I'll wait until those get just a little bit bigger. And I'll come out and I'll snap those off and I'll make some more garlic scape pesto like I did last year. If you'd like to see how I made that, I'll leave a little card up here for you to click on and I'll show you how I made that. I noticed that one side of my onion bed, the onions looked really good, and the other side looked kind of wimpy. So after we had all the rain this week, I went ahead and just put out some fertilizer for them, hoping that, maybe one side will catch up with the other. If not, if they don't get very big, it's not a big deal. I can just eat them as green onions, and I'll still be very happy about it. I'm pleased to report that I have already harvested one of my bok choy. The one in the upper right-hand corner got harvested for Mother's Day, and everybody got to enjoy it, and they loved it a lot. My Napa cabbages are doing really well. I think I have three of them, last time I checked, that are starting to head up in the center. And we've had some cool weather this week, so I'm hoping that gives them a chance, one last go, to make a head before it gets too hot and they bolt on me. Next year, I'll probably plant them out a little bit earlier. They can tolerate the cold better than anything else in the garden except for maybe the kale. And speaking of the kale, it looks great. I harvested a ton off of these four plants and I gave it to my mother-in-law. And you can't even see where I harvested it off. They grew back so fast. So I'm really happy about that. I'll probably harvest the rest of the bok choy soon and go ahead and cook it up. I did notice a few of the little lettuces that I planted after all the rain decided they wanted to make a show. I'm not sure if they'll ever get big enough to actually be able to harvest off of, but if they don't, I'm going to try again this fall when it starts to cool off. My little sugar snap peas are doing okay. They haven't shown signs of stress or anything yet, so that's good. All of the herbs that I planted look really nice. They do need to be trimmed back a little bit, especially the oregano. It wants to grow out of the pot. I noticed when I was filming this that I have a few of my flowers that I planted in the okra bed that are starting to bud. So hopefully we'll be seeing some lovely colors very soon. If you'll notice, a lot of these plants look kind of light green. They don't look very happy. It's because of all that rain that we had. Like I said with the onions, I did go ahead and go around the garden and fertilize everything else too. I figured that the rain, it washes away a lot of the nutrients in the soil, so I wanted to make sure that I gave back. This is all zucchini and yellow squash. I did not anticipate them all coming up, but I am happy to have them and they look good, so we're just going to run with it. Didn't have much luck with zucchini last year because of the squash bug, so I was really hoping by getting them out early this year, I might stand a chance, against the pests. Maybe actually get a zucchini or a squash. So cross your fingers for me. Coming around this bed, I have some radishes that, as I said before, I'm not really sure they're going to do anything. But, even if they bolt, I'll eat the seed pods because those are really tasty. My spoon tomatoes have recovered nicely from being transplanted into the garden. In fact, when I was checking out this plant, I noticed a teeny tiny little surprise. These guys are no bigger than my fingernail, and are they not the cutest thing you've ever seen in your whole life? Ugh, just adorable. Has anybody ever gotten cuteness aggression over tomatoes, or is that just a me thing? I don't know. I think they'll be really cute on top of a salad, though. Now, moving on to the ruby monsters. You see this borage down here? Well, apparently I dropped a squash seed when I was out here the other day seeding all this stuff and didn't realize it, but I'm gonna let it live there. I don't have the heart to pull it up. All of my tomatoes that were hanging their head in shame when I planted them have all bounced back wonderfully. In fact, now that it's rained and they've been fertilized, they probably doubled in size. And these ruby monsters are starting to put on a lot of flowers. Honestly, I haven't seen a lot of pollinators in the garden, But we do get a lot of wind, so I'm really hoping that they'll go ahead and set fruit even without me shaking the plants or, bees crawling around on them. I think I'm going to plant some sunflowers in the corners of all of these beds to help draw the bees. I had all different colors of sunflowers last year, and they did a really good job of drawing the bees. This is my tomatillo, and if you've never seen a tomatillo flower, they're really beautiful. The other three that I planted next to it are starting to get pretty big, so I'm hoping that one plant doesn't just die before the rest of them are ready to start putting off flowers. But I think those three are going to catch up. And this is my green bean bed. I believe I planted this when I was with you last time. And again, since the rain and being fertilized, these guys have shot up. It's crazy. You can still see, or like there's a few here that I maybe poked down a little too deep that are coming up slowly, here at the end. But for the most part, it looks good. Something's been nibbling on them, but I'm not that pressed. I planted a bunch of them, so I'm not worried about getting enough. And speaking of the rain, this is how much rain we got over just a few days. I think it was like 5 inches of rain or something, but I measured it as half a gorilla cart of rain. It was ridiculous. The skies opened up and then acted like they didn't want to close. I was getting concerned about the amount of rain that we got. You can see my cucamelons here starting to put on flowers, and if you look really closely, you can see some tiny little fruit coming on the vines. I think this might be what I'm most excited about in the garden right now because I've never had a cucamelon and I really want to try them. You can see my two varieties of cucumbers have all come up really well. Way more than I need, but that's okay. Sharing is caring, and my neighbors know that in the summertime I will be coming around with bags of cucumbers. Probably this year I'll be begging them to take them, if I'm being honest, and zucchini, but that's okay. I'm sure they'll be happy to have them. And now just a quick peek at the pepper bed. Everything looks really good. There was something nibbling on them, but it stopped. I'm pretty sure it was ants or roly-polies. They're all actually starting to get blooms, so that's pretty cool. Looks like my peppers all survived transplantation, and I'm excited to see how much pepper yield I get this year. But that's all I have for you guys this week. If you're still here, thanks for watching. And if you're new here, hi, my name is Jen. I do gardening content every Friday and cooking, canning, and food preservation videos every Tuesday. If you're into that sort of stuff, I hope you subscribe and stick around. Until next time, friends, happy gardening.